Happy Thursday, everybody.
It is the first Thursday of August.
Welcome, August.
Can you believe it?
August and August.
August. Well, welcome to August, everybody. Listen, I have a question for you. Did you know, for you too, that there are 7 different types of rest? Did you know that before I started talking to you about it?
No, I did not know that there were 7 types of rest.
All right. Listen, so rest is something that's often overlooked, but super important. I know because I'm guilty of doing that. And you often think rest is just about getting enough sleep, but there's a lot more to it than that. Sounds crazy to even say that there are 7 different types of rest.
Crazy.
But when most of us are just struggling with that one, trying to get enough sleep. But you learn something new every day. So if you're curious about all the different kinds of rest, then stick around. This episode is for you.
Hi, I'm Pam Williams, a mother.
And I'm Jessica E. Williams, a daughter. And this is a mother and a daughter truthful chat, where we discuss our 35-year multi-layered relationship.
We've been through so many ups and downs. Not only are we family, but we're business partners in the high-stress world of event planning and production for short films.
We've also shared the same therapist for over 10 years. What some people call codependence, we call collaboration.
So join us as we share stories from our lives,
Have candid conversations with other mother-daughter duos,
and shed light on the roller coaster ride of being a woman while raising a woman.
We on? I think we back.
We are
All right, I know what time it is. Mugs up.
home. I think that's apropos for what we're
When I
talking
think
about.
of home, I think of a place where that's. Shout out to them. Currently on Broadway.
What are you drinking?
Well, I just got back from the South, so I thought it was appropriate that I have sweet tea to commemorate the occasion.
I am drinking Pepsi.
Sometimes that Pepsi, that caffeine kick, there's nothing like it on the planet.
I just needed a little sugar and a little caffeine at the same time. It's been a long day, and I still have many miles to go.
Anywho, welcome to Truthful Chats. This is our weekly podcast series. If you've been here many times or several times or a couple times, welcome back. Thank you so much.
This is your first time.
Thank you so much. And if you, that's why I said it's like church. You got to give the first time visitors their shout out. I'm like, hold on. I'm doing our seasoned regulars.
All right.
Now, if you are a first timer, super welcome. Welcome. We're so happy you're here. So Truthful Chats, as I said, is our weekly podcast series designed to engage us in the ongoing practice of creating generational wellness. If you have no idea what create generational wellness means, that's perfect because it's our term. So if you hear anybody else using it, you know what time it is appropriately. But, if there's no Pam and Jess attached, if they don't say Truthful Chats, none of that, then somebody's stealing. So here at Create Generational Wellness, we usually have a theme of the month. And then the Truthful Chat is where we unpack the theme just a little bit more. So July was fun, and it was definitely a fun month. Like, I'm starting to realize the more that we do this, the more the theme or the word of the month actually transfers into our actual lives as we're doing it. So July was actually fun. Okay. It was a good time.
That's good.
I took a couple trips. I did some things. It was fun. Okay. Welcome to
June
August.
was reset. Just so we talk about the summer.
So June was reset.
Mm-hmm.
July was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And now August is rest. And why do we say that? It's still summer, okay? Somebody told me summer really don't end until mid-September, but most of y'all will be back at school and work by then, so they don't really care about your life. As Michael Joseph Jackson once said, they don't really care about us, okay? So summer's really not over until mid-September, but the responsibilities and activities.
That Labor Day kind of puts
I used to hate if they ever tried to make me go to school before Labor Day as a 90s kids. I know you youngins, the Gen Alphas and the Gen Zs, there was a time we did not go to school. Why would I want to go to school and then have a day off and then you bring me back? Like, it just didn't make sense. Just wait till Labor Day is over.
That started.
And then let it be. Anyway, the powers that be don't care about your your rest. They want you back for your obligations and say responsibilities. So that being said, August is sort of like we're winding down for the summer, okay? If we all were to take paperwork into our respective jobs and be like, just so you know, summer don't end till this date, they'd be like, okay, well, you don't want your check, or you're going to
I'm still on vacation.
jail for truancy because your child should be at school. So we all get it collectively. But anyway, the theme for August is rest. And today, if you clicked on this video, then you know rest is the topic. And this episode is rest your senses to spark your creativity. Okay, so that's going to make a little bit more sense once we lay the foundational groundwork. Okay, so we've been talking about these 7 types of rest, which I literally had no idea about until we decided that we was going to do this for the episode. So this is not our concept, okay? You know, as Black women, we're very big about Black women getting their credit, and they do, okay? They just do. We will not be doing no erasure over here, okay? If it's something we came up with, we'll tell you. If it's something somebody else came up with, we're going to give them their credit, okay? They copyright and everything else in between.
Ain't nobody trying to go to jail.
Ain't nobody trying to go to jail. It's not that serious, okay? We're just trying to disperse information. All right, so the concept, all right, of the 7 stages of rest was developed by Dr. Saundra Dalton Smith, this beautiful Black woman you see before you with the silky press, huh? It might be a relaxer, which I think, I don't know. We're not here to talk about her hair. That's just Black woman things. Anyway, this is literally a screenshot from off of her website. I meant to make a banner with her website on it, but all her information is in the description box below. So wherever you're watching this video, just look for the link down below. That
Say her name again.
Dr. Saundra Dalton Smith.
She has a TED Talk too. You can watch.
Yeah, she has a TED Talk, but like literally the link that I put down takes you to her link tree, so you can find all her work, her Instagram, Facebook, her Twitter, her all the things are on there. So she is the person, and we're gonna give credit where credit is due, to identify the 7 types of rest that we need for emotional, physical, and spiritual balance. Of course, as I said before, she's a beautiful Black woman. Okay, I'm not sure where she's from. I haven't done all my research. Just watch the TED Talk. I'm a YouTube junkie, so I stay on YouTube. So I'm definitely gonna be watching the TED Talk because I'm interested and I want to know more. And she said that we all need these kinds of rest, and that it's possible for us to all do them. Okay, so let's break them.
As a Black woman, I'm sure
already know, honey.
She needed all the kinds of rest.
So these are some of her credentials. You know, we like to figure out the credentials around here. So Fast Company, Thrive, Fox, MSNBC, CNN. She's been featured on this Inc. And I think she also builds executive teams and does stuff. So she bought that life. So just if you Google her name, Dr. Saundra Dalton Smith, all this information will come up. All right, so let's break these down. I got this straight from her Instagram page, okay? Because again, I'm about giving credit where credit is due. Stop with the chicanery. Stop stealing things from Black women and putting your name on it. Okay, my PSA is done. All right, so her IG is, actually, let me put that up just so you can see it clearly. Dr. Saundra Dalton Smith, so it's at Dr. Dalton Smith, and you can literally just pull this up on her Instagram page, so don't trip. All right, so these are the 7 types, okay? There's physical rest. I think that goes without saying. We all know there's a little pillow up there, somebody with their head on it, because we all know what time it is, okay? So that's both passive, like as in sleeping, passive rest, but also active rest. So that is yoga, stretching, levels of physical exertion, okay? Next is mental rest. You see that little picture with the little brain, your little mental mind. And that's crucial because we have a bazillion thoughts that be running in our heads. It says at night, but honestly, throughout the day, okay? All manner of things be happening throughout the day that be having your thoughts running, anxiety, anxiousness. You got to function in the world. So we're not saying it's bad to have thoughts, but sometimes they can be overwhelming, okay? Which we talked a little bit about on Inside Out 2 when we talked about it last week, okay? Next is sensory rest. So you can see there's a little light bulb and an off switch, okay? And the sensory. So that is, we all need breaks and rest from screens and constant noise and all the things that really, like, I don't want to make this sound bad because it's not. I think having so many screens has really helped us, right? Because it's allowed us to live our life in a particular way. We're deeply more connected than we've ever been. All the information we've ever needed and wanted is at our fingertips. Even the information we don't want is at our fingertips. So we're constantly connected. So I'm not going to downplay it and be like, screen time is bad or having access to the world at your fingertips is bad. It's not. I'm a Gemini, so I believe in everything in moderation, okay? As long as you have the proper balance, that's good. So sensory rest is about, yes, we need to be connected. Yes, we need screens. We do our business on that. We connect to one another.
Mhm.
We do all that stuff together, but we also need breaks, okay? So that's sensory rest. Next is creative rest. You can see there's a little paintbrush there. And that is important for the problem solvers, okay? Which is pretty much what I feel like art is. It's just, you find artistic ways to solve all manner of problems. And so
like
that's for, which I think because like we talk about all the time, Pammy doesn't feel like she's artistic, but she's a person who solves problems. And that's really what artistic people are. We just solve problems. So whether that's through a story or dancing or painting or writing or drawing or whatever, everybody's creative in some sort of way. But creative rest is important because it can reawaken our sense of wonder. Emotional rest. What happened, girl?
Girl, my back is doing a thing by itself.
And my back is doing a lot of things today too.
It's
I was
crazy
on
day.
planes all day yesterday, so we'll get into that. Emotional rest, so you can see all the emotions in that little tree right there. And I'm describing for
The little feelings wheel.
the feelings wheel of emotions. I'm describing for all of our amazing auditory listeners out there. Shout out to y'all. We love y'all. We see y'all. We appreciate y'all. And again, this is all on Dr. Dalton's Instagram page at Dr. Dalton. So DRDALTON Smith SMITH. All right, so we are on emotional rest. So that just gives us space to express our feelings freely. Okay, we all need that.
Why'd you say feelings?
Feelings, because Kendrick Lamar Duckworth has accepted my brain. Does. I hurt your feelings. You don't want to tell me no more. Okay. So shout out to the king.
Oh boy.
So anyway, emotional rest gives us space to express our feelings freely. Social rest. This is hands that are open, I think,
Connecting,
and it's a couple of heads above it. So this is social rest. So this is hanging out with your family, your friends, like finding those that balance of relationships that revive you versus drain you, which we talk about often, okay? Because that be happening, okay? And again, I want to emphasize revive you and don't drain you. People are draining. I'm saying this as a person who enjoys people, but also recognizes the truth that human beings are draining. I would be draining to myself if I was not me. Okay. So human beings are draining in general. And so finding people who, when you are in social settings with them, give you energy and energize you rather than just suck all your energy away from you and all of your emotion, and you can't hear yourself think because everything is about them all the time. That's the stuff you want to avoid, but we'll get into that more. And finally, this is a person doing a little yoga. Their chakras is all aligned. I know the Christians don't like it, but I've been aligning my chakras, baby. Okay. I'm sure it's in the Bible. They just don't use that language. But let me tell you something. The alignment is very important. I'm just telling you. Anyway, however you get down spiritually, spiritual rest is all about connecting us to our sense of belonging and purpose in the world. Whether you get that from a higher power or the work that you do, like just making sure that you're vibrating on a higher frequency, on a higher level, okay? Which is very, very important. So I just want to highlight these again. Again, these, you can find all of these on Dr. Dalton's IG page, okay? So this is just a description of all the types of rest. I don't want to go through them again. Actually, I'll read them.
Yeah, I think so.
So she says, what type of rest do you need? And she describes them as physical, which is sleep and or doing restorative activities. Okay. Do you want to read the second one?
Yes. Mental, slow down and give your brain a break.
Sensory, unplug from screens, noise, light, etc.
Creative, appreciate the beauty of nature and the arts.
Emotional, take time to feel and express your feelings.
Social, get solitude and time with positive people. And spiritual.
And spiritual, which is cultivate belonging, love, purpose, etc., 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 as they used to say in The King and I. So There's a
Theater
lot
nerd.
of things to. I am a theater nerd. Thank you very much. There's a lot of things to unpack there. So, you really need. It sounds a little crazy to be like there are multiple layers and types of rest, but when you really think about it after you've heard the descriptions, you probably like that actually makes a lot of sense. I'm not really mad at that because capitalism will just have you going in general. Okay, capitalism is all about this is cute, but where the bread at? So, in order to survive in a system that values economics over people, it's very easy to be high achieving and wanting to get a lot done. But it's also equally as easy to be chronically tired and completely and utterly burned out.
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed.
So I think once we figure out, like, once you're listening to this, you're like, yeah, that actually makes sense to have all these different levels and layers because we are complex design beings. And so a lot of us are actually in a rest deficit and have been in a rest deficit for years. Okay.
That would be me.
Shout out to y'all that are parents and, people who are just doing all the things, right, for the good of other people, right? Black women, especially, all women, really, but Black women, especially, and we're about to hopefully save the country. So Black women gonna be more tired. But anyway, so I think having this respect and power for the true like power that comes from rest, and I think particularly for us as people of color, right? And I mean Black people specifically, no disrespect to everybody else, but the people that really built this country, right? That it was built on our ancestors' backs and labor and sweat and tears and pain and every other thing you can think of, right? Rest is usually like a secondary option for us and not our first. And so I think we are constantly in a state of unlearning that as the center of our being, because that's pretty much what the country has told us, right? You are only valuable based on the labor that you offer, not based on the human that you are or what you contribute or bring to the table or what you offer, or how you think, how you make the world a better place around you, right? Everything has to do with our labor. And so I think we're constantly that's like part of our ancestors' wildest dream for us, right? We always say like, we're the ancestors' wildest dream. And I don't think that's just based on our output and our contribution, but that we actually have the opportunity to rest without being physically threatened, killed, beat, whooped, right? For just trying to just make sure our bodies don't collapse and we don't die from doing said crazy, crucial activity out in the sun, right? And I was just in North Carolina and it was hot. And I was very grateful to the ancestors who had to put up, it was a lot of woods. Can you imagine being a slave with allergies? Like, there's just some basic things I be thinking about sometimes where I just be like, yeah, God, that wasn't my period.
Never thought about that.
That was not the period or the era for me to live in. And as a person with allergies, can you imagine you trying to pick cotton and you sneezing, or you trying to do something, and then,
eyes watering,
any particular thing,
in your nose.
Any particular thing can set off your master. So now you in trouble for something that you really like you can't do nothing about. Anyway, I sidetracked, but these are the things that I think about when I be going places. So I think a lot of us think of rest of like, I'm tired, so let me try to get more sleep, or like, let me take a nap, though I believe in a power nap, honey. I took one today during the middle of the day, but like sometimes you'll go to sleep and you'll physically rest, right? You'll do that physical sort of passive rest and you'll still feel exhausted. But that's probably because you're only thinking about that first part of the physical rest, which is passive sleep, and not the restorative activities part, right? Or any of the rest of the 6 things on here. So, just put it all in perspective.
Yeah, right. And again, like we said, since August is the month before we get super crazy again, and I have a feeling this fall is going to be super crazy with all that we got going on in the world.
America. Cheers, America. And let's not forget the Middle East. Okay, they just killed some babies over there. So anyway, it's important for us to rest from all the things, because all the things be happening.
Yeah. So we're going to spend the whole month talking about rest. We're going to take these 7 different. We didn't want to try to give them to you all at one time. It's
overwhelming because that would be sensorial overload.
Yes, that would not give you rest.
And mental overload.
So we're going to break them down during the course of the month. So we hope you stick around. But, understanding all these things, these different kinds of rest, can really be a game changer for you if you really get it into your system and you really start to do it and to work with it. However, understanding them is just the first step. It's about identifying
Implementing.
your specific rest needs, looking to see where you might have a deficit, where and sometimes you have different deficits at different times. So at this season of my life, what deficit am I operating with at this point? And then when you do that, then you can kind of keep yourself in balance, and that's what we want to do. So today we're going to start with two types of
Only two. Okay.
Only
We're
two.
not gonna be before you long, and we don't mean it like pastors.
Yeah, we are going to start with two because we both experienced these two this week, unbeknownst to us, because we didn't even know about these 7 different kinds of rest. But once these things happened, I was like, you know what, Jess, I think we actually had this experience, and it would be cool to talk about it on the podcast. So Jess was in North Carolina last week for, I think you left Wednesday. You just
Not
got
at all. I left Thursday night.
Oh, you left
red
Thursday.
eye to arrive in North Carolina Friday morning.
Okay. And you got back yesterday.
I did.
And my husband left 2 days before you. My husband left on Tuesday of last week, and he will not be back till Saturday. So, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
He's calling.
He's calling
I knew
right
that
now.
phone wasn't on mute.
I thought it was. But anyway, so I'm going to just turn it off. How about that? Would you be happy if I did that?
I don't care if you turn it off. I mean, you just turn it down. I put all my friends are always constantly mad at me because my iPhone constantly stays on silent. But I'd be like, I usually am in places where I don't want my phone to go off. And also the dinging and buzzing, sensorially being connected, gives me anxiety. So I just turn it off. I just am constantly in silent mode. Now that gives me, I got to check to
Now
make sure I'm not missing
and he
stuff,
knows
but
we're doing the podcast. He should know. But
he
anyway,
don't know what time
he's on the East Coast. So
anyway,
he might be
continue.
a little mixed up. So anyway, everybody was gone this week. So the house was incredibly quiet. Even so much, I miss our bird because when
Shout out to Shadow. We love you always.
So we used to have a bird. So even when everybody was gone, there was still the bird chirping, talking to him, this, that, and the other, whatever. But I mean, there was silence this week. Now, my husband is a news junkie. So
he is a television junkie, period.
Yeah, television junkie, but particularly news. He wants to know everything that Donald Trump might consider, think about doing, this, that, and the other, and what we need to do. So it is always, always, always on from the time he gets up to the time he goes to bed. He's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Now, I'm pretty sure that makes him exhausted whilst we're talking about
rest.
But
I'm talking about my rest.
But I'm just saying, since we're on the topic,
I'm talking about my rest.
I know, but I'm just saying, for those of y'all who may do that, you want to always be informed, you want to be on it. There's a certain level that we give. I don't even know if I would call that intellectualism as much as it's just like staying on the ball of what's happening.
Yeah.
But it's exhausting. So you might want to take a look at that under the auspices of the 7 things that we talked about. So just keep that in mind.
So
if you're extra tired and all you did was watch the news for an hour,
could be.
Might want to examine that.
Could be. So, and then Jess likes music. Like right before the podcast
all the time
came on, she was playing music till the minute we pushed the button to start the podcast.
Because it relaxes.
It relaxes her. Now, for me, I could have been just sitting here in quiet until it was time to start the podcast. But we're different, all right? So, but I realized last week when nobody was here, I can be in the house for hours at a time with just the sound of the air conditioning humming and the refrigerator humming, and all those things are just fine for me. So I had like this whole week where I was like, I am so peaceful. I'm so calm. I'm not agitated.
Granted, I say this all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
All the time. Because I be constantly agitated. I know I'm sensorially
overloaded
often, all the time. And that's why I say, and I usually have music on to drown out said other noises. Or for me, if it's too quiet, things get boring. Like I need music to work. Like it helps me get.
And I'm the opposite. I cannot, like the music in the background, it stops my thinking. So it makes me take longer sometimes to do what I'm trying to do because I go down the rabbit hole of the memory of the song, of the thing, or whatever.
But it's my music. She don't be having no memories to my songs.
I have memories to my songs.
But we don't be.
do
But
have
I'm
memories to
usually
yourself.
not playing.
But I
your
didn't
songs.
necessarily mean you in that
Oh,
particular moment.
okay.
I just meant music in general. I can, however, just have on music that has instrumental music. If I just have on instrumental music,
Me
for
too.
some reason, it doesn't take my focus the way the words do. But anyway, just thinking about that, we are constantly bombarded with sensory input from the moment we open our eyes. You got to check
Before
your
you open
emails.
your eyes.
You got the phone calls come in, the DMs, the computer screens, the Zoom calls. You got to go on the, whatever it is, the kids, the sights, the smells, the sounds. It just never stops. There's always, always, always something like kind of moving and going on. And so some of it is good, like you said, not, I love a good smell of a delicious meal or whatever. All of that is sensory input as well. But it can lead to a particular type of fatigue and overwhelm if it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. It leads to sensory overload. And that causes irritability and agitation, anger, anxiety. I'm not going to talk about Inside Out 2 again, but all that can happen. So it's crucial that you understand and practice sensory rest. You look at it and you go, I am totally overwhelmed. And then that feeds into decision fatigue, because with all these things going on, you got to try to figure out what to do. Do I stop scrolling? Do I scroll? Do I click on that ad? Do I answer this call? Do I answer this email right now? Can I answer this email later? Do I have to cook right now? Can I not cook right now? Should I go out today? Should I buy food? So all of it just like, woo. So with everybody being gone this week, I was quiet. And I think, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I think I got some clarity on some things that have been like running me ragged with regard to some decisions I have to make. I don't know if it's going to stay the way it is, but I finally got a peace about a decision. I don't know if I'm going to keep it, but at least I got quiet enough to get it. You know what I mean? I got quiet enough to get to the decision. So that was really, really cool.
Yes.
And yeah, it was kind of special. It was kind of special.
Facts. So if you are a sensory overloaded person, okay, like Pam, don't stress. Okay. I feel like all of us probably deal with that to a certain level, just because we are in a very sensorial world. It's always things happening, going on. So these are a couple of techniques, okay, for sensorial rest before I talk about my stuff. And so you ain't got to be extreme, okay? She's a person that likes it like that. That's why I work in an office space. Like when I worked in the office space, I had to have music on even then, because if I have to listen to fluorescent lights buzzing or the air conditioning or whatever, I'm finna go to sleep. Like the level of boredom is already about to be sky high. Okay. So some of that is just like, I got to keep my brain focused on something. And if it's rapping these lyrics or singing this song, baby, let's go. Cause I just can't have silence. But everybody's different. Okay. Shout out to you with your silence. Shout out to Team Silence. I too have experienced the house being completely empty. So I enjoy quiet time. But when it's time to, turn up, get the energy going, you got to put some tunes on. Anyway. So the first technique is to just try unplugging from some of your technology. Okay. Like at least for an hour every evening, or as you starting to wind down. I know a lot of people they be scrolling before they go to bed, but that again keeps your senses going longer than it should.
I like that.
Shout out to the iPhone though. I was talking,
I know what you're gonna say.
Android.
Yeah.
I'm actually, here's the thing. I'm not team anything. Okay. I don't care. Everybody is taking money for said phone. So I don't, whatever. But I do like on the iPhone that they have do not disturb. So they have like quiet hours. So you can put that on where like all the notifications and everything stop.
We have that
for the night until you wake up. This is what I'm saying. I'm just saying on the iPhone because they be worshiping it. So I'm like, let me give the iPhone stands their due. Okay. Which is good. So either doing that at night or just taking small breaks throughout the day. But here's the problem. Most people, y'all breaks are, I'm finna scroll on my phone. Like, forget this work that I was doing. My break is I'm gonna scroll on my phone. So I understand it, but we're not saying not to do that, but we're like also in addition, maybe don't always go to the phone or some sort of screen. Like maybe use a screen to play music, to go on a walk as your break instead of that, right? And you might scroll a little bit as you're doing it, but don't just solely be like, whoo, I can finally be on my phone and interrupt it, okay? The next technique, please don't underestimate the power of nature, which I just said. Just being outside, getting fresh air, seeing the sun, like all that just really regulates your nervous system, okay, which is very important. Being in sensorially friendly environments, right, that have all 8 senses, right? Sight, hearing, taste, touch, smell, movement, balance, all of those things. And a new term that I just learned, hopefully I'll say it right. Proprioception.
Yep.
A new term I just learned. I didn't know what that meant, so don't be like, Jess, you're so smart. I am not. But it's literally about the perception or awareness that you have of the position and movement of your body, right? So we always are like, movement is movement. You should move your body every day, which you should, okay?
But you should be aware of.
Get your blood flowing in some sort of
focus
way, shape, form, or fashion, especially because we just have very sedentary lives. In LA, we drive a lot. We sit probably wherever we're going to be at. Or if you're fancy and you have a very desk, like one of my bosses used to have that stand up, you can stand up and do it. But either way, there are opportunities for you not to move. So figuring out how to do that and what movements and postures best feed your body is important. Pay attention to what you're wearing. Avoid sensorial, itchy tags. I don't even sleep with tags by my face if I can avoid it. I don't know what it is. It's just, I don't like it. Like, I should be like, get this tag out of my face. Scratchy textures or anything that overwhelm my sense of touch. I done put on some sweaters or some outfits and I'd be like, bro, get this off me immediately. Because I don't like my skin to be irritated and itchy. I like to be sensorially happy. And that's even down to like, I don't like to be ashy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like my skin to feel smooth and like, hydrated for the day. So that's very important to me too. Also, try spending at least 5 minutes a day with no noise. Just 5.
I'm telling you, it'll change your life.
It could be amazing and refreshing. And again, this is the quiet Nazi, if you want to think of it that way. I say, even if you get on the phone, like in your car, when you first get in your car, maybe the first 5 minutes of that ride is quiet. Usually when I wake up in the morning and all the thoughts start rushing in, I just be like, okay, let's calm it down. And at least try to have probably somewhere in about 5 minutes.
I actually say out loud, oh, no. Y'all got to be quiet. We are not.
Because technically your brain never sleeps. You're really sleeping for your body to reset and recharge, but that brain be going all the time.
It'll wake up.
So when you wake up,
I'll be like,
So when you wake up, it's like, okay, cool. Even if I go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, they be trying to. So I just like keep my eyes super closed, or like act like
no,
or act like we're not going to do that. So.
We're not going to think about it. All right, here's a few more. Think about your lighting. All right, y'all be calling it creative vibe. You see, we have a little bit of a vibe behind us. It's like
we need color.
Yeah,
we'll work on it.
We'll work on it. Yeah, but natural lighting is best, of course. But if you're using artificial lighting, avoid the flickering fluorescents, like you said, that make the noise and the buzz. Try to have calm lighting.
Fluorescent lighting is where your soul goes to die. Like if you've ever been in an office space, and I had a boss that used to have migraines, like that light, it's just not natural. It's very bad for you. So. If you work in an office building, if you get help in, unless you're in the cubicle space, like try to get some natural light going.
Even if there's natural light above you, put a little lamp on your desk. You would be surprised how just having that warm light, like right there by you, makes a difference. I used to always have a lamp on my desk, and there was something about when I would come and sit at the desk and turn my lamp on, it felt like, this is my space. I know what they're doing up there, but right in here, we have a little warmth going on.
Color.
Yep. Earthy neutral tones to minimize overstimulation.
Because color matters.
I'm an earthy tone girl, as you can see. You see what I got on? But blues, greens, and purples can set a calming tone. So you see what she has on over there. Those are your colors, blue and purple. So calming. Right? Noise control is crucial. Consider using noise canceling headphones, or in your house, like if you can't have the whole house to yourself, then create a space for a corner for your retreat. You know, you don't have to, like, you can't, like, everybody shut up. You know, you can't do that.
I mean, you can.
You can, but it's not gonna
might
make
not go
for a
well
good
for you.
environment. So organization is important. Let's see, a lot of people don't, the clutter, that is noise to them, that sensory overstimulation. So if you're one of those kind of people, reduce the visual clutter.
But by the same token, don't be crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
You gotta think about this like the love languages. Okay. This about you. You're communicating with how you like for things to be. That don't mean people gotta do it, but at least everybody has the knowledge. Because this is what I said. We're not trying to give you a license to go and flip off on everybody at your house and flip off on your coworkers and be like, they said I gotta, like, just
the feng shui and the this and the that.
Do what you gotta do for
things.
you and help people realize this stuff for them, and then you can work around it. But don't be crazy. That's all I ask.
And find a designated space in the house. Like I just realized that I've got, with what happened last week, I'm like, okay, I really do have to find a designated kind of quiet space where I can go somewhere in between when it's noisy, and how do I make that happen? So I'm thinking about it. All right, now we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about creative rest. And creative rest was all about appreciating the beauty and feeling of sense of awe and wonder, whether that's human creative beauty like the art, music, things that we were talking about, or natural beauty like the ocean, the beach, the mountains. That is all restorative in a certain type of way. And so you might need creative rest if you're struggling with innovation or problem solving. Seems really hard. Like you can't figure things out. It's like, I just can't figure this out. It's overwhelming. So Dr. Smith, who's the author of The Sacred Rest, points out that creativity is not just about art. It's any type of innovation. And she noted that during the pandemic, a lot of us used excessive creative energy to try to keep from going crazy, right? Because everything had changed. So that took a lot of creativity and a lot of energy out of us just to stay
every day
sane, problem solving, right? So
for survival though, like it wasn't just like, let's find out different ways to live. Like it wasn't a fun project. It was like, no, we got to figure out how can we go get groceries and not die.
Yeah.
Like how can we send our kids to school and they not die? You know what I'm saying? Like it was very high stress, high level creative problem solving.
I still don't think we've recovered or may ever 100% recover from that. But anyway, most of us never thought about how much energy we had drained from that, and what was a good way that we could replenish it, right? We didn't think about it. So, Jess, I feel like your experience last week was more along this line with the creative rest. So, tell the even though you were hella busy and doing all the things, but I still feel like it was kind of a creative rest for you. So tell the people what you did last week on your
Sure. For those listening too, I want to highlight we have up the Rest and Freedom bundle, okay, because we love bundles on Dr. Dalton's IG page.
Not hair bundles.
We love those bundles too, but we just love bundles. So Sacred Rest is the name of the book that Pam was referencing, and then she has another book called Set Free to Live Free. Breaking through the 7 lies women tell themselves. That sounds interesting. So anyway, you can go on her IG and check that out. We have that up on the visual version of the episode. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. Okay, so North Carolina was cool. I was there for the Black Theater Network conference.
Leading into the
International Black Theater Festival, which I didn't stay very long for that because it's a long time. That's like 2 whole weeks of activities. But I was there for Support Black Theater, which is the organization that we work with that we talk about all the time, which is about I've been saying it all week. I'm trying to remember the taglines. now. Oh, it's just capacity building Black theaters, developing Black artists and their work, and cultivating Black audiences in LA. Saying all that to say with all the fancy words is we love Black theater, Black artists, and you want to support their work and get Black people out to see some theater to encourage their soul. Okay. So Black Theater Network, this was their 37th, 38th. It might have been 38th. I think it's 38th conference. And so it is literally Black leaders from all over the nation that run theater companies or organizations that support theater or theater practitioners or professors. Like these are people who, if you know, I was describing it to my friends and I was like, honestly, if this had been like all of this in a particular location with all of these professors or practitioners, like just the theater school we all probably should have went to, you know what I'm saying, for just being versed in Black arts, because theater can be a very white space. And you deal with white supremacy in very interesting ways. And most of the stories are geared toward, like, they look at theater as through a European lens. And so if you are a person of color, any color really, and so much of American culture and American theater comes out of Black theater. So it's kind of like the erasure you see in music where, you know, Elvis gets the credit, but a bunch of Black people was doing that way before he showed up. You know what I mean? But he gets the commercial success because he's white. So these were all the things that we were talking about at the conference, how to, you know, stay engaged as a Black theater practitioner or creative or someone who is in an organizational position for that. So it's a lot of networking, a lot of classes, a lot of people who are in high profile positions like Apple or in various places, how they're doing succession plans for certain people moving out of certain positions and into other positions. So it was just great. And it was great to be around just some new people doing some new things. So I think I kind of experienced all of these, if I'm being honest. I mean, I can lean into the creative part of it in terms of, like, you know, it was an opportunity to be around Black theater problem solvers from around the nation.
Artists,
and to hear that people are really, and people who just love theater, right? And to hear that everybody's pretty much dealing with the same problem. They just are dealing with them in different cities. And so it's just very energizing for a lot of people. And I think it's different for me because I live in LA. Most of my friends are artists and creatives. And so we already have community around that. I'm always at the actor studio. Like, I'm always around creatives. But I think for people who, you know, are in Philly or Detroit or, you know, places where art isn't the core cornerstone, I think this is a very invigorating thing for them. So yeah, it was a lot of sense of wonder being awakened, but also a lot of other stuff, right? I had a little bit of sensory rest, mainly from the outside world, but I was taking notes on my phone, right? So I had to use that. My physical rest, I didn't get a whole lot of sleep, so I wasn't great on the passive. I had a beautiful king size bed that I wish I could have bought back with me. I just wish the mattress was a purple, but I liked my room. Like, it was very quiet. And I was very happy once the festival started because the hotel where all the festival activities were, like, it was near everything. It was sensory overload. Like, it was people everywhere. They had an increased police presence because apparently the Klan was making threats. So
you were in North Carolina.
I was in North Carolina, which has a lot of hills. So there was the opportunity to enjoy nature, a lot of green. But I was walking way more than I normally would. And I'm starting to feel that. But I did actually make time, at least 2 of the days, to do yoga and stretch like I would normally do if I was home. I had to actively talk myself through mental rest, like actively tell myself, like I always do, to stop thinking so much, or like, don't worry about that, or like, you're going to figure it out. But then there were times where it was good to have a lot of thoughts because we were actively problem solving in real time and talking about things. But yeah, I had a little bit of sensory rest in that I wasn't like always, you know, tapped in to 100% of what was going on. Emotional rest. I mean, yeah, it was good to have people to be able to express your feelings too about how much you're passionate about Black theater, how much you care. We had done therapy before I left, and we actually did therapy this morning before we left. So, you know, that's always, when I got back. And, you know, that's always a great place for emotional rest, right? social rest, right? I got to experience that because it was people who were reviving my energy in terms of we were reviving each other's energy in the arts. I had to talk to a few young people there too. So it was a lot of social rest. And then spiritual rest. I wasn't necessarily like in my Bible or nothing hardcore, but doing this work feels like a spiritual calling for a lot of people. And so to be in a space where you feel like your purpose is being utilized or you're operating in what you feel like you're here to do is an invigorating, inspiring thing. And then I got to see at least one show. There's a bunch of shows that's going on. So I had some friends who were doing King Henry II, which I didn't get a chance to see. The play that I AD'd, assistant directed both and is in the festival. And then the 3 Phases of Issa, which is a short film that I produced with my friend, is also in the film portion of that festival. So it was cool to just be around Black people doing theater and art and caring about this art form that has sustained us, right? And kept us together as a community and a culture. And there's a lot of where white people be getting their storytelling abilities from. And a lot of our stars, that we know, Black stars that we love, came out of that movement. And the Black arts movement of the 60s and on is as a result of a lot of these people who either started this organization or were mentored by people in this organization. So it just felt really full circle. And considering the fact that my parents met each other in New York, one as a theater patron, the other as a theatrical artist. So I kind of was like birthed in that. And then there was a bunch of family and, artistic family that had seen me in years that was there. So it was like a really big.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool. Like
circle.
You kept sending us pictures of, look who I found.
I feel like I know this person.
I know this person. And then they would look and they would go, wait, are you? And so there was a lot of good reconnection that way. And so that was really fun for us to see kind of who you were going to run into during the time that you were down there.
So it's biannually in North Carolina, at least Black Theater Network is. And then they're always looking for membership. So if this sounds like something you're into. And then there was a lot of students, like they got to do presentations about their, one person was a costume designer. The other person was a lighting designer. And someone else was,
costume lighting.
Set design.
Okay.
And then someone else did an incredible paper about reclaiming sort of the critical narrative about a particular play that she was essentially saying the white critics didn't understand it because they didn't incorporate these core things about Blackness into their understanding of the play. Therefore, they missed the point, which I thought was incredible. And then another young lady did a paper about Black art and Black theater as resistance and protest, which was cool. So it was very intergenerational.
You hear all that creative rest she's talking about?
So they did a lot of, we did some stuff, some ancestral coming together and calling out people's names that have been a part of this movement and doing the work, that have passed on in transition. So it was cool all the way around. A little nature, a little spirit, sensorial, emotionals, a little bit of everything. So I feel like I did all the 7 rests. I just think I could catch up or
on your physical,
my passive physical rest because I'm quite tired. But it was great, and I highly recommend if you're in North Carolina or can get to North Carolina. And I would do it again. It was really cool. I really enjoyed it.
So that's really cool. But let's just say you can't go to a festival right now, or you can't go to a conference or something that intense and intentional. There are some other ways that you can get some creative rest in and every day. Some hobbies, drawing, cooking, any activity that keeps you inspired, motivated, reading, writing, whatever those things might be. Volunteering is another great option because it provides a sense of purpose and connection to the community. And again, sparks that creative process as to what's the best way we can get this goal accomplished. And then for daily inspiration, like I said, try reading inspiring stories, watching TED Talks, people talking about things that you didn't know about, like 7 types of rest, like this. And then start an all journal to record things that are inspire and wonder in your life, that inspire wonder in your life. So
or
yeah,
just jot some notes on your phone.
jot
I
some
know
notes.
some of y'all like, I'm
Yeah.
not finna just whatever.
Yeah.
However you do what you do.
However you do it, but be aware, be intentional about being aware of things that you like. Oh my God, that's beautiful, or that's really cool, or I hadn't thought about that. Schedule breaks for creative activities. And like I said, find a space in your home where this is where you sit to reflect. This is where you pursue your creative desires, your creative thoughts. This is where you go to be sacred. And limit the distraction, connect with other people that share your interests, and be open to those new experiences that can really spark some creativity and wonder that you may not have thought about. Creative rest is not a luxury.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely necessary for your health and happiness. So
for your health and for your happiness. Because it just helps us reconnect, right, with our inspiration, our purpose, enhances our well-being and our resilience, right? Because as we always say, at least weekly on this podcast, life be lifing, okay, in all various manners. Just like it's 7 types of rest and 7 types of craziness daily.
At least. At a minimum.
That at a minimum you're gonna be dealing with, right? And so, these are just 2 other types of rest, right? I know I kind of went through all of them because I had an experience that allowed me to have all of them with, and I didn't even know that they were a thing, right? And that's not gonna happen every day. But it's good to be aware of those 2 things. So now we've made you aware of them, which were sensorial rest and creative rest, right?
We're 2 for today.
2 for today. So we got a few more coming down the pipe there. And these types of rest just help you to create more fulfilling, hopefully a more harmonious life and existence, and especially generational wellness, right? Because if you're not resting and you're not taking care of yourself, right, how are you going to be able to
show
pour into other
anybody
people
else what it looks like,
and just
pour into other people?
And maybe you like, I don't care about nobody else but me. Good for you. So even for you, you know what I mean, you have to really take care of yourself, take care of your mind, take care of your body, your spirit. And if you are constantly on autopilot or running around mode or grind mode or hustle mode, which again, our culture will let you grind yourself into oblivion. Okay. It's a dust. Y'all remember when LeBron used to put the dust and then throw it up? That's going to be you if you don't decide.
Or Avengers.
To Infinity Wars. Okay. That's going to be you if you don't decide that rest is an appropriate thing. So just start small. Like, look at these. Check out Dr. Dalton's IG page. Again, Dr. Dalton Smith's IG page for more information. Again, the description in the description box, we have a link to all of her work. So you're going to go straight to her link tree. So you have access to all the things. She has a podcast too. We're not podcast greedy around here. So get what you need where you need to get it. So all the information is there, and just start small, man. Start with something small this week and be intentional about the type of rest that you're choosing.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid to set boundaries. Okay, right? Your time and your energy. Okay, if this is the time you like, I'm taking this 15 minutes to figure out what my rest types are. These kids better not bother me. Y'all fed, y'all clothed, y'all bathed. Don't bother me. Okay, I'm resting. And then just start, like Pammy said, start to track it. Like, oh, that was really nice. I really enjoyed that. I'm like, oh no, child, that was not for me at all. But at least you are exploring your options. So we're going to continue to explore the rest of the types of rest for the rest of the month. I'm sure we'll revisit these. But the goal is to come up with some sort of personalized rest plan strategy. And rest strategy for yourself.
Yeah.
And we're exploring it too. You know what I mean? I was like, thank God I just had this experience where I had all of the types, but trying to figure that out in the day-to-day, what that looks like. But I'm all about the rest, honey.
I am not. So I am trying to be better.
And not even to detriment, to the point that it get on her nerve. That's what I will say.
I'm trying to be better.
The older I get, the more I'm like, none of this is really that serious. It's really just, it's not that serious. I know it feels that serious, but it ain't that serious. Okay. Unless you're going to die today.
I told you I saw a hat that said that. If you ever see that hat for me, buy it.
Did you die today?
Did you die today?
Did you die today?
Yeah.
and if the answer is no, then you should rest.
Mhm.
Because I assume you're going to get up tomorrow morning and you're going to need
If
your
the
energy.
good Lord says the same.
Your energy for whatever you got to do.
As the old people say.
So hopefully you learn that rest goes beyond just getting
Sleep.
your hours of sleep in.
Mhm.
That's passive. That's physical rest, but it's passive. Okay, there's an active version of that as well to give your body time to recuperate. And we're all diverse and complex beings, right? We are not the same. Y'all are not the same as us, right? They're not like us. Hey.
I knew you were
Let me tell
going
you
there.
something. You have never seen, I've never seen so much intergenerational joy as when a group of people of various ages say Drake, and he was like, I'm young. You better not never go to Cell Block 1. Like, I felt like I was home when they played that song because the amount of walking,
all the generations.
all the generations was like, yes. So again, shout out to the king for just being excellent at his craft and great. So anyway, we all rest and recharge in different ways. And so we just want to make sure that it's effective, okay? For life's challenges, issues, concerns, pressures, problems, and just foolishness, okay? We need to all figure out the best way to renew our energy and renew ourselves. And hopefully these 7 types of rest can help you do that. All right, so that's it. We gave you the 2 for today.
We'll have 2 next week.
We got 2 next week. So hopefully you'll stick around for this month. Please, please, please share this, okay? With a family member, friend. Now, don't be rude about it. Just be like, oh, I heard this thing. You know, like I thought of you. Like, oh, I'm make it a challenge, right? Like, oh, you know what? I didn't even know what 7 types of rest. I just heard this. I'm trying to do it. We should work on it together. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you language, okay? Or be like, wow, this is so amazing. Like, you got to figure out how to Jedi mind trick people into doing what you want to do. This isn't manipulation. It's just you got to word it in a certain way so that they're energized and engaged and excited to do it with you, right? And again, do it with you. You don't need to be like, well, you need this, because we all need to do better at rest. So this is how you going to word it and frame it, okay?
Something else I was going to tell you. I don't know what it was now. It just
That's
went out of my mind. Oh, I know. I'm feeling like we should have a guest that is good at resting.
Okay.
Let's think about that.
We can think about that.
I know somebody, but let's see if
I'm great at resting, but y'all see me every week.
if we know somebody else that comes to mind that's like, you know what? They are intentional about this. So we'll think about it.
We'll see. And if anybody knows Dr. Dalton Smith, tell her some Black women over here
Shouting her out.
talking about her work. So shoot this to her if you can. And we'll probably tag her, and I'm sure she got a YouTube page and all that. So anyway, thank you, Dr. Saundra Dalton Smith, for your work. You are saving 2 Black women's lives over here.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly hers.
I hate you.
But it's okay. Anyway, so if you want to come back and hear about the other types of rest, please make sure you're subscribed on the YouTube channel. Follow us on IG, Facebook, fan base. We are at Create Generational Wellness on all of the platforms. And yeah, man, just come hang out with us next week. I think that was all I had to say. I don't remember if there's anything else.
I think that's all I had to say.
This was a great burst of energy for me today. This was creative rest, mental, a purpose, spiritual. I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I mustered it up. Anyway, we love y'all. We'll see you next week.
Love you guys.
Weekend.
Have a good week. Be
Thursday,
safe.
and practice at least.
Be safe.
Practice at least 2 of these.
Keep your head on swivel.
At least these 2.
All right.
At least these 2.
Sensory and creative.
Sensory and creative. And let us know in the comments how it worked out for you. Oh, please subscribe. Also, auditory listeners, I knew I was forgetting something. We love y'all. Please rate, review. Tell the people. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Because if you don't share it, baby, how will they know? Okay. All right. That's it for real. Love y'all. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.